All right.
And we're waiting. All right.
No, we are up. Welcome everybody to BNS Gaming episode 7. Sorry for the delay. Again, been a lot of real life. We know my brother got married New Year's Eve.
Yeah.
Bill was at the wedding. Um, New job for you.
Yep.
Uh,
Farther away.
yep, medical stuff for me, which hopefully I'll be getting the last bit taken care of tomorrow. I had my chest X-ray yesterday, so hopefully they'll just be like, yeah, let's try to get you in today and do that, because I'd really like to be able to lay down and fall asleep much easier than I have been. But we got some big news. Like, we were initially going to try to do one about the swatting stuff, but that dude's in custody, at least the guy who called it in.
Yeah, he's an idiot.
I don't know about the other two.
Well,
Uh,
the one that actually did it, I think, is. I mean, he's the one that should be held responsible for it. So they got at least the guy most responsible for the whole thing. You know, even though he wasn't, somebody went to him and did all that. He actually made the call. He's responsible for it. So at least they got the guy who most deserves it.
yes. Yes. And, my own personal thoughts is, I mean, I personally think that these swatters should be charged for, like, fucking pre-med, but you're going to have a real hard time convincing a jury of that. So I would definitely say convincing a jury of that. Manslaughter, at least, like, and conspiracy in this case, because it was with somebody else. I'm just not sure what you could actually get a jury to deal with. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Yeah.
Especially because the jury is not necessarily going to be tech savvy and understand what swatting is.
Right, and for those who are trying to keep up, there was a kid. This is a few weeks back. I don't know his name, but apparently he had done some swatting at a game convention a couple years ago, or was it a year ago? Anyway,
Something where
he's
he
kind of
called
a
in bomb threats or something.
yeah. He's known for, like, wasting basically public resources and tax dollars on having police and emergency response teams go out to places for fake bomb threats, and so he had swatted this guy because the guy, he didn't know the guy he swatted, but if somebody who knew. So let's just call the swatter the asshole. So some kid was playing Call of Duty, and so I guess some dude probably beat him.
No, they were on the
So
same fucking team.
oh, that's right. And they're yeah, okay, yeah. Yeah. I guess you could tell the story. You probably remember it better than I
Yeah,
do.
well, they were on the same team. They lost like $1.50. Big fucking whoop for $1.50 there, dudes. And so the one dude was like, he gave him his address. He's like, yeah, go ahead, swap me. I'll put you in jail. So then the other kid contacted this other dude, who then called in. And did you listen to the 911 call that I linked you?
I did. Yeah.
And you can tell me that dude did not sound like a fucking sociopath.
Well, he does. Yeah, he just sounded. He sounds a lot like oh, the Trump's one of Trump's aides, John Miller. He has
Right.
that sort of like monotone voice, and he's like trying to force his voice into a lower register. So it has like that like false bass in it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he does. He just sounds like what he sounds like is, yeah, a kid who probably is a little mental.
Yeah. You guys are going to have to pardon my cough. I have fluid building up around my lung, and I need to get that removed. And it makes it very hard to not cough. But, so somehow they found out who the kid was. What ended up happening was the kid who gave the address of a house like down the street from him. The cops show up and they shoot and kill the guy who answered the door. Now, I'm not gonna like sit there and say that I'm taking all the blame away from the cops, because when they do these sorts of situations, like, you heard what he said. He said he had already killed his father, he had doused the house with gasoline, and he had his mother and his little brother in the house. And so, cops are gonna go in half cocked, easy there.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah, I mean, that's why these kids are swatting people. They're counting on it.
right, and that's why I say they really should be hit with premeditated stuff, not just manslaughter stuff like that, because anyone who knows anything about swatting knows that this is what people want. They want someone hurt or killed. and now it's finally happened. And I really hope they throw the book at him. But somehow they found him. He's been arrested in California. He did it on the Skype or on the phone interview with fucking Keemstar of all people. And did you listen to that interview too?
I did. And I was listening to him really try to walk. I don't know what the term you would be. I just listened to him try to really dance around the fact that he was responsible, because he kept, stuttering and stammering, and like he blamed the cop because the cops actually pulled the trigger.
He blamed
just
the
really
kid for giving him the address.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But it was like, and it wasn't until the very end of the interview that he suddenly realized, oh shit, if this gets out, I'm going to sound like I have no remorse. And he's like, well, no, obviously I'm sorry the dude got killed. You know what I mean?
Yeah. You can hear him right towards the end of the conversation. Yeah, he was sort of like, at first he was like, it's not his fault. Then it might be a little bit of his fault. And then he sort of had the realization dawns on him that he made a terrible mistake.
Yes. So he's in jail right now. I don't know what the bail was. It was something outrageous. And they're talking about maybe extraditing him to Kansas, where the shooting took place. And I really hope that he gets the book thrown at him. And you know what? I think that the other kid who gave him the address should get he should get something too. He should get like a conspiracy charge against him, and he should fucking go to jail too. In my opinion.
Well, there's a lot of stuff, just obviously in terms of the consequences of what he did, but he didn't make the call from the same state, right? No, so that's immediately right there. Violation of like all kinds of things, when you're talking about breaking the law across straight lines. Now it's a federal thing, so I don't even know if it would be considered extradition now, because it's a federal issue, not a state issue.
Right. Maybe the feds will get involved. FBI. Something. It's just crazy. So that's just. But he's in custody, and so that's a good thing. And we can sort of leave that there.
Yeah, we probably would have gotten more in depth, but something a lot more interesting and upbeat has happened in the world of video games.
Much more current.
Yeah.
And that would be that Microsoft just announced on Tuesday, and like, I immediately send the link to Bill and the words "cray cray" underneath the text.
Yeah.
And I don't use cray cray. Okay.
No, only on very special occasions.
And this was one of those occasions. And what happened is on Tuesday, Microsoft has announced that now every first-party Microsoft game released will go into Game Pass day one.
Which is really sort of interesting. I mean, it's more than interesting. It's awesome.
Huge. It's a game changer.
It took me a second for me to even really register what they were talking about when I saw that, because they're like, I'm like, wait, if they put, what does that mean? If, like, at first I'm like, wait, no, why would I want to buy a game on the Game Pass if I can just pre-order it and have it at midnight, right? Because my brain wasn't putting it together yet, because it just seems like, oh, $10 a month, and now any new, first-party intellectual property from Microsoft now goes immediately to you. It's like Netflix or the WWE Network.
Exactly. I think the WWE Network is the most apt comparison.
It is, because you can compare new game launches to pay-per-views, which are pretty expensive without the WWE Network thing.
Yeah, they're what, like $60 a pop or something like that?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if they're still that much. If they are, then that's crazy for anybody who just paid for a pay-per-view the old way. That's like 6 months of WWE you could have had there, and all the pay-per-views in that 6 months. So yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot for the value. And the interesting thing is, I was reading an article today about that, and they said Microsoft, because the obvious jokes are, oh, that's great, you get all these Microsoft first-party games exclusives, but Microsoft doesn't have too many. Forza, Gears of War, Halo. Now you got Sea of Thieves, and you've got Crackdown. You've got the zombie one that I always forget the name, even though I love the original. State of Decay 2, which will have multiplayer, and that'll be awesome. You know what I mean? Like, that I can't wait for. So you got some good stuff, but it's not like they have this dearth of stuff happening immediately. But it raises the other question, is Microsoft doing this at a loss to show the benefit of getting people in there, and then maybe going out and brokering deals and getting perhaps some other like Grand Theft Auto, you know what I mean? So what other big publishers they're willing to kind of get in on it, because apparently Microsoft's Game Pass has been pretty successful for the company as is.
As is, yes. And see, that was something I was thinking about too. Like, short term, I could see this being hurtful to the bottom line. Okay? Because people are now going to, let's say, State of Decay comes out like a month after Sea of Thieves. I don't know the exact date, Sea of Thieves. It's March, I know that. And I know that State of Decay is supposed to be sometime after that. But let's just say those two games come out within a month of each other. Well, then somebody basically only paid $20 and they get to play them.
Right.
But
in addition to all of the other games that are on there.
Right. But on the flip side, what this is going to do, in my prediction, it's not necessarily going to sell more Xboxes, okay? It's not something that a lot of people are going to look at and go, well, great, now I'm going to buy an Xbox. But for those people already with Xboxes who were looking at Game Pass and saying, because I have it right now, but I was thinking about canceling it because most of the games I want, I already have. You know what I mean? I've already bought.
Yeah.
But now I'm like, oh, no, now I'm going to keep it. And you're going to get other people that are going to be like, yeah, I'll go in for at least a couple months and see how it is. Because I was not interested in buying Sea of Thieves. But guess what? At $10 a month, I'll check it out.
Yeah.
Crackdown 3, same thing. I wasn't interested. Now I'll check it out.
I'd have to say that I think that if somebody was thinking of either, I want to get a game console, what one should I get? Or, they have a PlayStation and they don't, they think, yeah, pretty good. But then they look at all the games from the original Xbox plus 360 plus the catalog for the Xbox One for $10 a month. I think that is a system seller. I think that that's the most compelling reason of all to get an Xbox. If you're on the fence, or maybe even if you weren't considering it, you have to look at the value of that and go, that's kind of worth it.
It is a great value. I mean,
if you get just the Xbox One S, you know what I mean? Like that, because then it's not expensive, and it's a great console, and for what the One S is
like $250.
$250? Okay,
I think somewhere around there.
Yeah, so $250 and then $10 a month. I mean, and it almost at that point, it almost does kind of become a Netflix of Xbox for people, because you've got this whole back catalog of games that you can't play in a year. I mean, obviously not everyone's going to want to play every single game. It's going to be different tastes. Mileage may vary. But I honestly think that this is the most attractive for people who don't own an Xbox or haven't owned one in this generation. Because now they can go play the games that they used to like when they, still had faith in Microsoft with the 360. And now with the Xbox One, there are tons of great games. It might not all be first party, but there's already a ton of great games on there.
Yeah.
In addition to all the other, the new, launch day stuff.
Right, but see, now we differ there. I don't think it'll necessarily sell consoles. It might. I could be wrong. This could be something that all of a sudden Microsoft sells like 3 million consoles this month. How do I know?
Right.
But what I really think it's going to do is it gets more people who already have an Xbox to say, I'll get Game Pass now, because they might be like us. You and I were like, Sea of Thieves, not really our cup of tea, so we weren't going to spend $60 on it. But I'll check it out for $10 a month.
Yeah, that is my other thought. Once I sort of realized what the game plan is with the new Game Pass, my next thought was, and to your point, and this might be something a lot of people think about, and like you said, I don't know that it's going to sell consoles. It just seems to me that if there was a good reason to buy an Xbox, this seems pretty damn good. But I'm also starting with the Xbox One when it launched. I basically decided that I was going to, from that point forward, only buy games digitally. So I own all my games. I'm not any part of the secondary market economy, which used to be the major way I would fund all my game purchases. But now I don't have as much time to play. So the games I do buy, it's not like I'm buying so many or that I need so many. I've still got a ton of games I haven't finished playing and I want to play them. So there's a good backlog for me. So I can own them permanently With the Game Pass, you only own the games as long as you have a pass, unless you
Right.
buy the game individually.
And
But
we do have to remember they give you a discount on the games that are in Game Pass if you decide to buy them fully.
right, like the EA thing, they give you discounts.
Okay, see, I didn't know. Right, you're right. EA does give it to you. That's right. So it's like, I think it's like a 20% discount
Yeah,
over the
that's
current price of the game.
I was on EA, whatever they call it, the EA Pass, is it? I don't fucking know, but
EA Access.
EA Access, yeah. And I was on it, and I left it because it just wasn't any value. They didn't have a lot of games I wanted to play, and they still really don't. But I signed up for a year at like they had, I don't know, it was some sale. So it was like $35 for the whole year. So it's one shot deal. But the reason I signed back up, other than the fact it was $35, because even then, if there's nothing on there for it, $35 is still $35.
Right.
I can go buy myself some beer and a pizza with that.
Yeah.
And so I wanted the discount on, unfortunately, Mass Effect Andromeda, and so I got the EA Access for cheap, and then I got the game cheaper, and that was like 20 off or something, $10.
Yeah. So it definitely, these sorts of things have their value. Now, obviously, you already own Titanfall 2, so when that went into EA Access, that wasn't a big deal to you. You already had it. Yeah. And that's been my thing with the Game Pass so far. It's like, oh, that's a cool game, but I already own it. Oh, that's a cool game, but I already own it. Oh, that's a cool game, but I already own it. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And then the other ones, I'm just like, man, even for, $10 a month, I may or may not decide to download some of them. But, like I said, Sea of Thieves, I'll check it out on the Game Pass, no problem. Crackdown 3, I wasn't going to pay $60 for Crackdown 3. And I think for those two games in particular, you're going to see a lot of people doing this. Because not everybody is a huge Crackdown fan, okay? And Sea of Thieves, even though all the game journalists out there are saying it's great because they've been playing it, and other people who were in the alpha are just saying, look, it's great, you don't understand. How many people do you really think we're going to go out and spend $60 on that game?
I don't see it really pulling in a lot of players.
Right, exactly.
And it was weird too, because I was reading an article about how Microsoft is betting big on Sea of Thieves, and I was like, oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
That can't be good.
Right.
I mean, like I said, I played it. I just, because, the thing is, again, they have these games where, and, Destiny's run into this, and even Warframe runs into this, is like these shared world experiences. The more that you have to make it so that people are playing together, and not only playing, like, they have to group up, but not only do they have to group up, but they have to actually coordinate with one another. I don't get it. Like, I don't get why game developers don't realize it. Gamers sometimes just want, put me into a lobby, load me up. I love, co-op, but don't force me to have to, like, some people want a lone wolf. I don't mind the co-op. I mean, I personally love the co-op stuff, and I love coordinating and talking to my team, people that I don't know. You make friends that way. But there's a lot of people where I'll get into a lobby of Warframe. Nobody talks in Warframe. Nobody.
Yep.
Like maybe twice I've had people actually talk in Warframe.
I think it's the same thing for me. It's like 2, maybe 3 times. And that's it.
Yeah.
If they weren't people we already knew.
Yeah, right. And and especially games, well, for me, like, I would really love it if more people would talk in Titanfall.
Yeah.
Because that's definitely a game where it's fun to shoot, turn into a giant robot and shoot shit. That's kind of the appeal of the game. But if you're able to get with, and it doesn't even take massive tactical coordination, just a little communication between your team, and you can dominate. Because everyone's a lone wolf in that fucking game. As evidenced by everyone naming themselves fucking Wolf. I don't get that on Xbox Live. There's some wolf, like, I would probably say maybe 2 out of 10 something wolf.
Yeah.
Wolf something. I don't know, it's the new numbers. You know what I mean? It's weird.
The new XX.
Yeah, right. It's like, you have Wolf 756 bracketed by X's. That is the most generic, universal Xbox Live name. I don't get it, though. Yep. But you know what I mean? Like, I see a lot of wolves out there. Yeah. I don't know what the appeal of that is. Maybe it's because of the shirts.
Maybe. But How many people do you think now are going to check out Sea of Thieves if they can get it on Game Pass?
Oh, I would
Tons
imagine
more.
anybody, if you have Game Pass and you're not checking out the new launch titles, why the fuck do you have Game Pass? I mean,
Yeah.
that's the reason to have it at this point, right?
Yep.
Like you said, unless you're coming into Xbox and you haven't really played with a lot of this library, and there are a lot of great games in there, but there's also a lot of games that they gave away for free over the course of the last few years. So if you've been an Xbox subscriber for the last even 3 years, most what they have available in the Game Pass catalog is not going to be appealing. They're either shitty games to begin with, or they're games they gave away for free, or they're games that were so popular that you've probably already played them, and then the rest is a very small percentage of games that you wanted to play that you never had a chance to, and now you can.
Right.
But, I would think that the bulk of that library is probably, like you said, uninteresting to most people because they either don't want them, already have them.
Right. But, like I said, like Sea of Thieves, to me, I didn't see it selling very well at all. Like maybe 1 million copies overall. With Game Pass, I could see 4 or 5 million people playing it easy. To at least test it out, see how they like it, And the same thing with Crackdown. Crackdown 3, the first 2 Crackdowns, they were okay, but they're not like anything super great. Yeah. And I don't foresee Crackdown 3 being anything super great. So I wasn't going to spend $60 on it. And I'm sure there were a lot of other people, I think yourself included, thinking the same thing. Like, I'm not going to spend $60. But again, you're only paying $10 a month. You can check it out.
Right.
And now
literally,
you've
right?
got
like,
2 $60 games. You've just paid for your entire year of Game Pass there.
Yeah, why would you not? So with Crackdown 3, I think it's interesting that in the single player game they don't have the destructible environments, but in the multiplayer is where the buildings you can actually flap like the tallest building in the game. Neat. Yeah. I don't know why that is, but
probably because the way the single player campaign works, they just want it to be able to, for everyone to be able to do everything. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. You go in and like knock down your headquarters at the beginty of the game. It'll kind of break continuity.
And then you look up and, oh God, there's agility orbs up there I didn't get. Fuck.
Yeah.
Like.
Good point. Yeah. So there's some appeal there to me, but the funny thing is, maybe the era of that style, and I'm not talking about Grand Theft Auto because Grand Theft Auto is a beast unto itself. Also. Still, in my opinion, one of the greatest. It's definitely one of the greatest video game series of all time. Grand Theft Auto 5 is so amazing in terms of technical achievement, right? So it kind of stands on its own.
At the end of 2017, breaking into the top 10 NPD.
Yeah.
To this day, 5 years later.
Yeah, and the game continues to be incredible. Jesus, so the game's been out for 5 years, and only now they finally revealing the mystery of the mountain, whatever, with the UFOs and shit. Like finally, 5 years. That's playing the long game, man.
Yeah.
But so Grand Theft Auto notwithstanding, I feel like the days of the Saints Row, Crackdown 3, they even had the Agents of Mayhem, which was built by it was kind of like in the same universe as Saints Row, sold poorly, and maybe we're not in that era anymore of like open world, goofy, cartoony chaos shooters,
Yeah. No, I can see what you're saying.
Because I was kind of sick of it by the time Crackdown 2 rolled around. It just felt like more of the same. Same thing like Saints Row, 3. I maybe got up to... By the time I got to Saints Row 3 or 4, I can't remember.
4 was the last one. Because
they all had to blend in. It was like...
3, I think, was the last one on the 360 or something like that.
Yeah.
And I think they just 4, the only cool thing I saw in 4 was like the shark gun I think you could buy. Where like you shoot it and a fucking shark would pop out of the ground and just eat people. And I'm like, okay, that's cool, but I'm not going to buy a whole game just for that.
Yeah, they were doing a lot of funny stuff. They had, of course, beat people with giant dildos. I mean, they decided that where they couldn't compete with Grand Theft Auto in terms of depth and technical acumen, they would just go with over-the-top action. And that worked, but it's kind of like zebra stripe bubblegum. You know what I mean? It's a lot of fun for the first 3 seconds, and then it loses all its flavor, and then it's like... There's no reason to going back.
Yeah.
With Grand Theft Auto, even if they weren't adding all of this awesome content like every other month, the game itself still has so much. It's so much fun to play that.
And the actual campaign in Grand Theft Auto 5 is long, involving, and there's multiple endings. So,
I still haven't beaten it yet. Haven't beaten it.
Yeah, 5 years. Still haven't beaten it.
I mean, because the online is so much more compelling to me. I'm close. I should be close, I think. And I'm now at the point where they're on the lam. They're like not allowed in the city.
Oh, okay.
So we'll see. I don't know how close I am to the end there, but I got to finish that just on principle at this point.
Right.
Can't keep saying it's one of the greatest games of all time and not actually have fucking beaten it. Then I've just turned into a video game journalist.
Yeah. I hear Polygon's hiring. No.
And see, this is the thing, right? So there's no way that a Take-Two, Rockstar Games would say, okay, Microsoft, yeah, let's just put our game into your Game Pass for some percentage.
Right, at launch.
Like, at launch,
no.
There's no way they're going to look at that as more viable and more lucrative than, well, okay, hold on. Now I'm thinking. So sure, however many millions of people times $60 is a lot of money, right?
Right.
But
what's up, Brian?
I can't believe I'm saying this. So in-game transactions, which is really where Grand Theft Auto is making all of its money now.
Oh, God, yeah. All the shark cards that they sell.
Yeah. So if Microsoft has a way forward, I feel like, in terms of with third-party publishers and developers, it's the kinds of games where they can monetize almost like an MMO, but these aren't MMOs. These are just regular video games, and they, people get the game and they get the developers and the publishers get a portion of the subscription fees, but then really they get probably 100%. I can't imagine Microsoft making deals where like they get some fraction of the in-game transactions.
They always do. Microsoft and Sony, they always get 30% of those in-game transactions.
Oh, do they? Okay, well then that actually makes it. So then there's more people getting in. So you lower the barrier to entry,
right? And
then you get more people buying on the other side,
right? Potentially buying on the other side, because now instead of also spending $60,
right,
they now have that extra $60 laying around where they might go, shark cards, sure.
Or they spend more than $60 over time, which is obviously the end goal, because that's exactly what GTA 5's doing.
Yeah.
So anyway, yeah, maybe. I mean, maybe. Look, Warframe is very successful. That does microtransactions right, and that's free.
And we've said that, I think, every show now. I think we have every show.
I guess, yeah. The Warframe champs.
And Titanfall 2. Warframe and Titanfall 2. Microtransactions done right.
Yeah, I think the audience can tell what what games we're playing.
Yeah.
But yeah, so anyway, I think that I was going to say I can't see a publisher or developer looking at Microsoft's Game Pass as a model that would be very successful, and not in every case will it be. But I think that when we're looking at a future where games are always connected, there's always going to be some sort of like in-game financial transaction with real-world money, for better or worse. That's where it's going. Yeah, I think maybe that is going to be the linchpin that gets third parties into the Game Pass.
And I think at first, third parties are going to look at how Microsoft does with Sea of Thieves and Crackdown 3 and State of Decay, because those are the ones we know are coming out this year.
Right. They're really going to be looking at Halo.
Well, Halo's probably not coming out this year, though. There's a chance.
There'll be an announcement.
Probably an announcement. Yeah.
Yeah. Because I don't think that Microsoft is looking for quick returns in the short run with the Game Pass thing. I really do think
this is really a long-term game. It's a long-term game of, will we make more by getting more people paying just $10 a month, $120 a year, even if they play 4 of our first-party games in that year? Who cares? We're still making that $120 off of them. Plus, if they do any in-game purchases, then we're making money off of that. And I think they're really looking at it. Will this make more than your standard $60 purchase? But this isn't necessarily going to stop those $60 purchases, because you're going to get some people that are going to be like, I'll just buy the game. I don't care.
Right. And that's fine. That's certainly, the publishers, I'm sure, don't mind that. Probably it'd still be preferable even if they went in on this business model. But the psychology works in the favor of the business side of it, because people are going to go, I spent $10 this month. I've got, say, 2 new games came out, and one of them is some in-game transactions. The psychology probably is, even if they go into the game and they spend $30 on microtransactions, they're thinking, I'm still saving money.
Yep.
Than if I bought the game completely and hadn't bought any in-game purchases.
Right.
And that's exactly the kind of thinking that works in the favor of this Game Pass plan. I'm sure, and Microsoft, I'm sure, has metrics even looking at that. They probably wouldn't even have moved forward with it if they didn't think that this was going to be successful.
Oh, God. They had, accountants looking at this for months and months before they ever decided on it. And they're MBA people going, you know what, this could be a thing. And, again, there's going to be people that still buy the games. Like, when Halo comes out, it depends. I might just buy it. Who knows? We'll see. Because that way I don't have to worry about if I stop Game Pass not being able to play it anymore. Yeah. But, like I said, short term, this might hurt them at the bottom line. But I have a feeling that long term, if they can even get, it's $10 a month. If they could even get just 1 million people to sign up for Game Pass, let's just say, I don't know how many people are in it. Nobody knows the exact numbers, but you figure if they get just 1 million. That's $10 million a month coming in right there. Right. Free of charge. Okay? Now, what happens when you get to 4 million people? Now you got $40 million just coming in all the time? A month?
Right.
That's a good chunk of change. And the more Xbox owners that sign up for Game Pass, the more it just goes up. And to me, I think that's where the business decision is look, who cares about the sales of our first-party games? We can put them on Game Pass. We'll just get more and more of our current player base to spend that extra $10 a month.
Right.
And we'll rake the money in.
It almost feels inevitable, because what it literally becomes at that point is games as a service.
Yep.
Just like you've got your Photoshop, you do the, Adobe Cloud. Now it's, you don't download, really install, or you guess you have executables that call home. I don't know how it works. I know you use it, but it's basically, the design suite as a service.
Yes. Yeah.
And
Brian just brought up a point. He's like, there are players that happily spend $1,000 in microtransactions and DLC for certain games. You're looking at 2 of them, not quite $1,000 here, but.
No, but I've spent a few $100 on Warframe.
Okay. And I've easily spent, beyond my purchase of Titanfall 2, I've easily spent another $100 on Titanfall 2. Easily.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah, and I've spent a lot of money on GTA as well.
Yeah, I have.
Find those stupid shark cards. I just want... God, everything's so expensive.
I know.
I haven't even bought my yacht yet.
But... And, Brian's right when he says that there are players that happily spend that. Look at Clash of Clans. You got people spending tens of thousands of dollars in that fucking game.
Really?
Oh, yeah. I don't know if it's still as popular as it once was, but at its peak, there were people spending like tens of thousands of dollars a month on that game. And I'm like,
interesting.
Are you fucking rich motherfuckers, or did you just go into massive debt? And yeah, there are people that spend that type of money. And that, I think, is what Microsoft is kind of hoping for. Okay? That they put in DLC and microtransactions, whatever. We'll just say microtransactions. I think the way future is the way that Titanfall did it, where your maps, your characters, that sort of stuff will all be free. And then everything else you buy is cosmetic. Okay? Battlefront 2 notwithstanding. I think that's going to be the future of DLC, is monetizing that way and keeping your player base together so that people are more willing to play the game longer. Okay? Titanfall 2, yeah, its player base has dropped off a lot. But guess what? You go into a game, everybody has the same maps, that sort of stuff.
Right.
So those sorts of microtransactions could keep the games going, provided they're quality microtransactions, stuff like that. And, again, like I said, just, suddenly 10 million fucking Xbox players out of the however many 35, 40 million there are get Game Pass. Well, now you've just got $100 million coming in. Plus your $60 a year in Xbox Live.
Yeah, it just seems inevitable to me. I mean, as we're talking about it, I was like, oh, that's kind of cool, but that just seems more and more to be the way it would go. Like, that's the logical conclusion. Right?
Yeah.
Games as a service kind of thing.
Yeah. And I'm not saying it's great. I'm not saying it's bad, that games as a service thing, but it is the logical way to go. You're right. It's the way, because I really think that the next generation of consoles is going to be the last ones with physical media. And so, GameStop and companies like that, their days are numbered once the consoles no longer come with physical media.
Oh, well, so did you read the part where Microsoft is working with GameStop to make the Games Pass available for people who want to go in and get the physical media? You'll actually be able to get, I think you can have a card mailed to you or something, but there's some thing that Microsoft's going to allow.
Well, they're going to have like cards that you can buy at GameStop. Yeah.
Right. You'll be able to go in and just kind of, if you're the kind of person
who doesn't want to use your credit card online.
Right. Or you live in a place where you can't download gigabytes.
Oh, and see, I don't know if they mentioned anything about that part, like the actual physical part. But
well, as you're saying, you can go in and there's a physical component to it. Yeah. I thought.
We can check. We can look that up.
I had forgotten about that until you just mentioned it. But here's the thing. So I just experienced the pain of very really low caps on internet. So my I have a boogie on my nose the whole time there.
I don't know.
Damn it.
I don't have you full screen, so it's not like I was looking at your nose.
Yeah, well, I just picked my nose on stream. So anyway, so at my family's mountain house, my in-laws have a house up in the mountains, and the only internet that they could get is Dish Network.
Okay.
Dish has a 5 gigabyte cap, and they already don't. Their bandwidth is already kind of like not great.
Oh, yeah, because of satellite.
Right. But it's serviceable. And I didn't know this until I went and read, because I had taken my old Xbox One up to the mountain house. So like, while me and my wife were up there hanging out, she could play Sims, or I could just play some games, and then I looked it up, and there's a 5 gig limit. And then of course, then it just throttles you like down to nothing.
Right.
And I was like, well, crap. So next time we went up, I actually plugged in an external, I think because I got the new 4 terabyte.
Right, okay.
The 1X. So I took my old 1 terabyte external drive, loaded up some games on it, took it up there. Because I'm like, there's no way I'm going to kill it. Because, I don't want to kill their cap, and then when they're up there actually trying to use the internet for other things.
Right, yes.
On gaming, which is pretty much, Candace and I game, but we still want to like use our phone, because by the way, if you don't, here's the thing, they needed the internet not because it was just nice to have internet, it's because there's no signal, there's no nothing up there. Once you get up
for your phone, gotcha.
Your phones are paperweights.
Gotcha.
So the only way you can, they have a landline, or that's it. Like you can't. There's nothing. So really, the internet is more for communication and traditional,
gotcha.
data stuff, not game. So I feel the pain, man. For people who are way out there and they have crappy internet service, yeah, it really sucks, and that it's a big concern. Like, oh, I don't want these updates downloading in the background, because then I won't know if I hit my cap or not.
Right.
So Microsoft, I guess, is trying to solve for some of that pain by working out a deal with
GameSpot or GameStop. Interesting.
Just look that up.
Yeah. Now they're actually, after Microsoft announced this, it turns out that yesterday or today, an Austrian game retailer has decided that because of this, they're no longer going to sell Xbox Ones.
Wait, what's it?
Yeah, this retailer feels that now that Microsoft is going to be putting out their first-party games on Game Pass, that they will no longer sell Xbox Ones because they feel that Microsoft is trying to cut them out. And, you know, they're not wrong in that respect. But, well, I don't really see a lot of other retailers going through. Well, I could see GameStop doing it. But I don't know.
Well, here's the thing, right? So if brick and mortar retailers aren't able to offer gamers what they want, then whose fault is it really that Microsoft is offering a better service? Listen, since before the time of, you could download games, but you couldn't even download games, like pre-order it and have it like pre-downloaded and ready to go 12:01 midnight.
Right.
I've been waiting for that. I don't want to walk to the store. I don't, I like being able to play the game immediately. Lest
the only time I go to the store is for the consoles themselves. That's it.
What's that?
The only time I go to the stores is for the consoles themselves. That's it.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Well, yeah, and that's what I'm saying. Like, pre-orders used to be not about just giving game developers your money beforehand. It used to be about trying to get out in front of scarcity. I don't want this game to sell out because I want to get it the day it launches. So you basically put some money down on it to hold that.
And depending on where you live, like, you live in New York City, you live in Philadelphia, you live in DC, LA, Chicago. These stores have limited quantities of physical copies. That's all there is to it. And there are millions of people in these cities.
Yeah. Even for games that, like, they had so many midnight launches all the time for games that, and the last thing that I bought, I think, I don't actually remember the last game that I bought, but I do know that I bought my Xbox One. No. I have my Xbox One. I actually ordered through Amazon. The last thing that I bought, the last console that I bought was my Halo 4 edition Xbox. And I stood in line for that. I think it was Halo 4. Yeah. And that's what and so it's been a while, but my point is, brick and mortar retailers, it often famously were dissatisfying shopping experiences. You would hear people talk about they would take in a box full of old games, and granted they're old games.
$5.
I would. What's that?
$5.
Yeah, like I would take in some old games. I think our buddy Surf took in a big box of not even like ancient games, just like all of his old Xbox and Xbox 360 games. I think, I don't know. All I know is like he took in a big box and he got like $10 for it. And the thing is, they're going to sell all those games for like $5, $10. Yeah. So the markdown, and I get it, you got to make a profit. I'm not knocking that, but I'm just saying the markdown was pretty ridiculous. You walked away feeling you got really ripped off.
Yeah.
At least they could have let you do better in-store exchanges or something. Who knows? I don't know. I'm not a business guy. All I know is I'm a consumer, and what I want isn't what GameStop is offering. So, that's on them to figure it out. It's not on me to figure out how it works and how it failed. All I know is it's not who gets my money.
Right. And, eventually it's going to come down to the point. Because like I said, I think there's only one more generation with physical media. After that, we're going to be easily in like 2025, 2026. Internet will be better. Streaming will be better. There's no reason for a console to need a disk drive at that point. And again, it might suck for some people out in the boonies who have no internet, but that's just how it'll end up being,
Yeah, I mean, it's unfortunate, but there's nothing stopping them from, going out and buying the, like there's ways for them to compensate for that probably if you live out in the boonies, you're used to dealing with anyway.
Right. Going
out and buying physical copies. And if they get a point where the technology moves past your locale, unfortunately, and this is like a shitty thing to say, I get it, but your options, you can go back and play old Xbox games.
Yeah.
Like you can get an old Xbox. You don't need an internet
boy,
for it.
You're starting to sound like what's his face there in 2013.
Yeah, I know. I can't remember his name.
Don Matrick.
Don Matrick. Yeah.
But you know what? At that point, though, hopefully the cell phone networks will be better. That sort of stuff too, because God knows Comcast, Verizon, AT&T, like they're not trying to run fiber out there.
Right.
Because that costs money.
And here's the difference between me saying it and Don Matrick saying it. I'm saying it because I'm a consumer and I want my needs met. And if let's just say that they didn't introduce digital day one downloads, right? Which is something we wanted. Let's say that the technology was there and they never pulled the trigger on it because they didn't want to alienate, Captain Boondock, right? Who can't download it. So they said, well, that's not fair to that gamer, so we're not going to enable that feature. I'd be pissed off, which is why I say, like, oh, well, at a certain point, I'm saying that as a consumer. I'm saying that is I want the best advantages and I want to get the best value for my dollar. I don't want to get up off my fat ass and wait down the fucking street and wait in line at midnight to get a game when I can just sit in my jammies, and have the pizza ready, spark up a bowl, and at 12:01, I'm off to the races.
Yep.
Okay, I don't want to have all of that negated because Jimbo loves living way out in the middle of nowhere but still wants to play Xbox.
Well, he might not love living out there.
Guys like Don Matrick can't say that because don't be an asshole because you're trying to sell it to Jimbo right down the street.
Right.
So the difference is that he's trying to sell it, and of course he has to put a better face on it. And just as a business leader, don't be cavalier. I can be an asshole because who the fuck cares?
Right. Who are
as
you?
As a business leader, don't be cavalier.
Right.
I'm glad they're doing it. But I do, again, too, the question really comes up. Obviously, it's about making money, but is it about making money in a way that the gamer doesn't feel like they're just being milked?
Well, exactly. And this Game Pass thing, everybody who's talked about it really has said it feels extremely consumer friendly, which, is kind of not the thing Microsoft is known for, over the decades. But it is extremely consumer friendly when you go, look, you pay $120 a year, $10 so you don't get 2 coffees in a fucking month. Oh, big deal. Or less if you go to Starbucks. A coffee and a quarter. But you get to try all of our first-party games for free. And if we release 3 or 4 in a year, you've more than paid for itself.
Right.
I love how I just got a message on Mixer, I'm guessing from like the last time you were in my stream, when somebody mentioned that he couldn't hear me very well.
Oh, and I just
commented. And it just commented, yeah, UT's audio is a little low. I'm like, what is he doing? And I'm like going in and like adjusting my microphone right now. I'm like, wait a minute, no. And that was literally, like I said, I didn't realize it was going through my webcam mic.
Right.
At that point.
Yeah. You're a little low now, but like I can hear you fine, but you're coming in through my headset, but
right.
So you're a little not that bad. That's why I said a little low.
Yeah. Well, plus my voice is not very good right now either.
And of course, you've got some discomfort going on there, but we talked about this when Microsoft really started pushing the Xbox Live initiative, when Xbox 360 came out and they were doing games where you could play demos. And I remember we were talking about this a long time ago, how Microsoft had built up a lot of equity with the gamers. The Xbox Live and the things that they were doing with Xbox Live, and when they launched the 360 was very smart, and a lot of that's why the 360 was the dominant console. They made a lot of smart moves. Don Matrick, to go back to him again, he wasn't making smart moves with the launch of the Xbox One X with the One, and then now they're trying to write the course, and I feel like this is reminiscent of that decade ago when they first launched the 360 and the cool stuff they were doing with Xbox Live then, making gamers feel like this was for them. It didn't feel like, obviously they want you to spend money, but it doesn't feel like that. We know it, but it's not up in our face.
Right.
And I think that's a big appeal about this thing. So I'm going to wait. I'm not going to get it yet. I'm going to wait until I don't know.
You know what it was? When I set up my Xbox One X, I just hit the Get Game Pass.
Did you do the trial?
I tried to afterwards, and then I found out that they had already charged my credit card, and that code is only good for new Game Pass things.
No. I had done the trial when they first announced it, and my wife played Miss Pac. I think Pac-Man was on there and some other stuff. But like I said, during the trial, pretty much every single game was a game that they'd given away for Xbox Live Gold.
Right.
So I was like, they're all like all of them was like owned.
Right. Yeah.
So, and that was sort of for me. I was kind of like, obviously I either own it, so I don't have to pay $10.
It's kind of nice for the people that missed out on those games.
Mm-hmm.
But for the rest of us, okay, we already have them, or we didn't want them in the first place.
I'm gonna wait until maybe Sea of Thieves, or maybe I don't know. Mm-hmm. I'll wait another month or so, because I'm still, like I said earlier, I'm trying to work through a backlog of single player games as it is.
Yeah.
I've got so many. I've got like Outlast 2 and the Aliens game.
Oh, Jesus. And you know what I just found out comes out next month?
What?
Bayonetta 2 for the Switch. They're, the port from the Wii U.
I remember reading about that.
And I was like, oh, shit. Now I got to... And apparently what it does is it comes with a download code for Bayonetta 1, which I have it on my PC. I don't need it. But I wanted to try Bayonetta 2, but I wasn't going to buy a Wii U just for Bayonetta 2. But I have a Switch, so now I'm going to have to get Bayonetta 2. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. I don't think I talked about this on air. I know I was talking to you about it offline, but for me, 2018 is going to be the year of PC gaming. I'm definitely building myself a PC.
I just hope the graphics card market evens out for you before you really start looking into parts.
Yeah. I'm gonna save up. I'm gonna save up a base amount of money.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Get the. I'm probably gonna get certain. Some things I want to get first.
Right.
But I'm really just gonna save up and kind of in parallel with saving, look at where the market's at, look at cards, look at motherboards and chips that work with those cards.
Right.
So that's where I'll be with that. But anyway, the reason I'm doing this is because I'm sort of gearing up for. I really want to play with some, Microsoft's mixed reality stuff and some.
Mm-hmm.
I want to get an Oculus. So even though I know that there's no killer apps for those things yet, I've been playing. What's the name? I got the Daydream for my. Pixel 2 XL.
Right.
And so they have the head-mounted Daydream thing, which is kind of, I guess, like the Samsung VR, whatever there's gear. Is that VR gear?
I think so. I don't know. I don't follow VR. I don't want to say VR is a fad, because it's not. It will eventually be the future, but VR is just not there yet for me.
No, it's really not there for anybody. But I've been having a lot of fun playing some games with my Google Daydream. They're actually pretty cool. There's this one hacking game I've been playing, and it's actually pretty impressive. It's when I take it off. I played that game for about an hour, and I took it off, and it was really weird.
Mm.
But yeah. So with the Microsoft thing, yeah. So it's pretty cool. I mean, I'm probably gonna wait. Like I said, for me, gaming right now is probably gonna be on the PC. There's a lot of PC games that I want to try.
There's a lot of good PC games out there too. But
yeah,
you even own one of them.
Is sort of number one on my list.
Right, because you don't own a PS4, so you can get it on the PC.
Yep.
You have Dirty Bomb. That's a really fun free-to-play first-person shooter.
Dirty Bomb is fun.
PC.
Yeah, and they're fun games. It's just my laptop's getting a little long on the tooth. And the other cool thing is with the GamePass, compounded with Microsoft's Play Anywhere initiative.
Right. Whatever games are going to be Play Anywhere will also be able to be played on your PC. Yes.
Right. So even for PC gamers, there's some benefit to that.
If they feel like using the Windows Store, that's the only thing. A lot of them don't want to use the Windows Store.
It's an app store like any other app store.
Yeah, I know. That's how I got my Gears of War. Like I had to get it through the Windows Store when I downloaded it or when I bought it on my Xbox. And I've told you, like the campaign at 90 plus frames per second is so much different than the campaign at 30 on the Xbox.
Yeah. Yeah, and I kind of want to. The other game I wanted to play was Warframe on the PC because they're always a little bit ahead with the updates. And stuff.
Yeah. My only issue right now with PC gaming is since my last surgery, I'm like just always in my bed when I'm home.
Yeah.
As opposed to, sitting in a chair, which I do at work. Although we got new chairs at work, and I'm thinking, if I got this chair, I could definitely see myself being comfortable in this chair for a while at home, because it's a really comfortable chair. It doesn't look like it would be comfortable at all, but it's really super comfortable. So I might end up buying one of those, and then I can get back into PC gaming. But on my bed, it's really hard to do keyboard and mouse when, you know, my mouse is over here on my right and my keyboard is in front of me, you know, like, and when I mean on my right, I mean like right next to my knee on my right, because I don't have anything that I can put my keyboard and mouse on right now where they're sort of in front of me.
Right.
But that's my own fault for...
Right, that's a logistical issue for you right now.
Right.
Yeah, so I'm looking to save up and do that. But of course, obviously, I still prefer, like, you know, I want... The main reason I want a desktop is because I want a better work area. It's more work, believe me, than games. It's just figured if I'm going to get a new system, I might as well...
Get one that plays games, yes.
Yeah, I might as well dump a ton of money into it, get a real nice setup, and just kind of future-proof as much as I can for a little while.
That's what I did with this one when I, you know, made the video editing PC. It's like, well, I might as well make sure it also can play games. So what's the best video card I can afford? Oh, look, some things went on sale. I can afford a GTX 980 Ti when it's still the top-of-the-line graphics card. Fuck yes! And that's what I did, you know? And for gaming, this thing will last me easily until the 1180 Ti. So I'm good there. I'm only on a 1080p monitor. It's not like I'm on a 4K monitor where I need to be in like a 1080 Ti right now.
Yeah, and that's the other thing too. Some games like Guild Wars 2. I'm kind of looking forward to get back into and checking out.
Yeah, so. there's definitely a couple games. I'll tell you, Doom on the PC, so beautiful. Especially
Doom has VR, right?
I don't remember if they made a VR version. I know Skyrim does, but Skyrim's, you know, coming out on my fucking telephone next week at this point. So, and I mean like my fucking phone downstairs, my fax machine. You know, Skyrim's coming out on that. Oh my God, they're milking that one to death.
Yeah, and I don't know. I know that Bethesda released Fallout 4 on the not the Oculus Rift, but the other one, the Vive.
Right, HTC Vive, yeah.
Yeah, and that kind of sucks because I kind of want the Oculus. I just sort of feel like Microsoft's giving more support to the Oculus, so it's kind of where they've got the resources. I mean, if any one of those two companies is likely to, you know, obviously Microsoft supports Facebook. They were an early investor. And so, you know, Facebook always kind of paired up with Microsoft Technologies. And so, you know, they're all kind of in bed together. Mm-hmm. And so the Oculus certainly has the financial support of companies that are in no danger of going under. Meanwhile, HTC, not so much. I think that they would definitely spin that off or somebody would buy it. Mm-hmm. But my point is, I don't really want to buy a Vive, even if it is supposedly a superior VR setup. But they have Fallout 4 on it. I'm like, shit. And I wonder if Bethesda's planning on releasing Doom also on.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not sure if they have the VR versions. I'd have to look. But there are definitely
some review of Fallout 4 in VR, and they said that, like, despite its wonkiness and weirdness,
and its 9,000-year-old engine.
Well, they didn't complain about that so much. I mean, even with the Xbox One X, high-res updates that they released, the game looks pretty good. I mean, it looks good, it plays good. But they said even though it felt wonky because they had to refashion the controls a bit.
Okay.
He still said the game, it's amazing. Like you feel like you're in the world of Fallout 4. I'm like, yes, I want that.
I'm still waiting for them to finally update that fucking engine because they've been using that same engine now since Fallout 3. And in between that, you've had New Vegas, Skyrim, and now Fallout 4. And it's still the same engine. And as a matter of fact, it might even be an older engine than that.
What about Elder Scrolls Online? Looks the same to me.
Yeah, I'm sure that's using the same engine. Now, granted, look, there are people, like Brian mentioned, the mod community on the PC, and there are people that have turned Skyrim into one of the most gorgeous games you have ever seen in your life with modding. Okay? If you download like the super high-res texture pack and you have like a GTX 1080 Ti that can handle it, Skyrim suddenly looks like fucking real, all right? And that's great. But goddamn, that engine is so old. Can we please just move on, Bethesda, to a new engine?
Yeah.
Please.
Yeah, that'd be nice. All right, well, I think we're kind of close to getting to wrap it up. If there's anything you wanted to add to it, Sam?
No, not really. I mean, GamePass is what we really wanted to talk about, and I think we gave ourselves some good thoughts on how it could go and what we like. Like, I see this as a good thing for the consumer, and in the long term for Microsoft as well.
Yeah, I do. I think so. I think it's the future. I think that we're seeing the beginning stages of the next evolution of gaming. Like you said, I don't know how or in what shape it takes, but in terms of like just console generations might become a thing of the past in some way, as a result of this. We'll see.
Yeah. Well,
depends.
Not even just that. The reason is, I mentioned it in that one video I made a bunch of months back. Like, now that they're basically on x86 processors, as long as they just continue to iterate up, like, say in 4 years, okay, or 2020, we'll say, all right, earliest, Microsoft could come out with whatever the next Xbox. But then say, okay, well, if you have an X, which was probably at that point now down to about 300, 250, somewhere around there, it'll still play the games, and that will be our new base model. And then, the new one is the high-end one. Kind of like how the X is the high-end one now, and the S is the base model. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah. No, I agree.
And I think Sony could do the same thing. Although, from the sounds of it, they don't really want to, because they kind of like, for some reason, a whole new generation type thing and blocking people out of the games they already own.
Yeah, it's interesting. I was reading a thing. Somebody had an opinion piece about the games Pass thing, and they said, Microsoft would be the company who has the money to be a lost leader on this one. Mm-hmm. That's actually, that article is where I got the idea. Comparing it to Netflix, you had made the comparison originally about it being more like a WWE thing, but it does become more like a Netflix when you first of all, when you have a lot of first party content that just goes right there,
right?
And you can kind of consume as you want, and it doesn't matter if it's new or if it's not. But the thing was, the article kind of went into it. Nintendo and Sony can't afford to. Sony maybe, but Sony won't. To your point. I don't know why they don't take
Sony loses Sony loses money on so much of their other stuff besides the PlayStation right now. And during the PlayStation 3 years, they were just losing money left and right. Period. And right now, literally the only division that makes money for Sony is the PlayStation division. And there's even some talk among financial analysts and stuff, because Joe's father-in-law is one. That Sony is planning on getting out of the consumer hardware market for TVs and stuff like that, because they just don't make the money off them. And they're
just selling components and stuff, like selling Blu-ray components,
stuff like that, or staying in like their high-end areas.
Yeah, because they own like patents on that stuff.
Right, but they also make like some really high-end professional stuff that they charge an arm and a leg for, and they make money on that. But that sort of stuff doesn't come down to your and my level.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, you and I are not going to go out and buy a $20,000 television and a, $5,000 media player.
No, wish I could.
Right, but we can't.
So it looks like Microsoft is uniquely positioned to be even, at a loss, the leader here, which if the future is what it looks like it's going to be, which everything is kind of a subscription model, then Microsoft has just, not only has it changed the way people are going to consume games on the Xbox, they may have been the people who took that first step in the direction that all games are going to go.
Right.
Steam's kind of been there for a while. I'm surprised Steam hasn't already done this, quite frankly.
Yeah. Thank you, Dropshock Sniper in our Mixer chat has followed, just so you know.
Word. I see that. Yeah, your little Darth Vader icon popped up there.
Yep.
All right. Well,
so
thanks for joining us, Dropshock Sniper. Because now
it's been forever, Drop. We gotta play some more, man. But yeah, no, I think it's definitely a game changer is what this is going to be, and it's going to be interesting to see where things go from here on out.
Yep. All right. On that note, everybody, I'm Bill.
I'm Sam. I'm sick, Sam. I'm so fucking. Oh, I can't wait to get this fluid drained. You have no idea. just being able to sleep at night is going to feel so good.
Yeah, man. I hear you coughing. It's.
And I've coughed up blood again. Not much, but like
Jesus Christ, dude.
Because the capillaries burst from the pressure of the fluid. Now it hasn't been much. It's not like that first time where it was like I had like a large Wawa cup a quarter of the way filled with blood. Right. It's just been like, oh, there's a little blood. Okay.
Should have fed that to your enemies.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, not for nothing. Speaking of the WWE Network, I subscribed again.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, I don't know why. I think it's just because in terms of all the stupid things we subscribe to, like it's really the only thing where I can hop on is watch. If I only have 10 minutes or 30 minutes, there's always something I can fill the gap. Basically, all I just do is search for like Bret Hart, Jake Snake, Roddy Piper. That's it. That's all I watch. But
don't lie, it's all Roman Reigns. We know you.
Yeah, well, I'm trying to. You know what it is? I growing up with it, and of course the Attitude Era where we all always got together every Monday night for it. I'm just trying to reconcile the new era of wrestling. I mean, it definitely sucks compared to the old stuff.
Oh god,
both the 80s and the late 90s. But I'm just trying to take like a. I do enjoy it. I actually enjoy the actual wrestling part of it.
Oh yeah. Especially because the physicality has just gotten better over the years too.
Yeah, I mean, this is obviously a gaming show, not a wrestling show, but I agree with a lot of things Jim Cornette has to say. I like it better when there was more build-up. Not everything has to be a dramatic high spot, as they're called now, like where they're doing like, every other move is like a flip off the ropes, because then it sort of diminishes.
Yeah, or God, the thing that's been happening right now is every other move is a fucking finisher.
Yeah. Well, in the game, and I bought the game too, but I bought the game because it was on sale. I always do. I always buy the new WWE game at the end of the year because it's like half the price for all the shit.
Right.
Yeah, and it's better. The netcode supposedly is supposed to be way better. I went on, fought a match, didn't seem much improved to me, but whatever. But what I do is I go in and you can customize the I forget what they're called. It's like gameplay balancing. I think they call it balancing. Okay. So you go in and you can like. Turn up or down like the finisher move strength or how much the AI reverses or whatever. But the first thing I did this with the last year too is I go in, I take the finishers and I put them all the way up to 100%. A finisher should be 100%.
Right.
It's a fucking finisher. The match should be finished. Now, I'll give them one kick out, both for drama and because the game does allow for like if you're a player, you can get a skill. You can get a button, just get like one automatic kick out.
Okay.
You don't have to like play the mini game for it. So I give them one kick out for drama and consistency with the product. But other than that, don't kick out.
After that, no, you dead.
Yeah, like DDT'd you 5 times, Brock Lesnar. No, stay down. Anyway.
Don't lie, you're Superman punching him.
Yeah. All right, everybody.
Yeah, we're going to get out.
I'll talk to you later, man.
I'll talk to you later, Bill. Thank you for joining us, and we will catch you guys next time.
Bye, everybody.